Writing a text response using Tennis Racket. Story by Dr. T.
Oh man, I heard that today in class we have to write about the novel we're reading.
Okay, so why are you so upset?
I have no idea how to do that.
Don't sweat it. Just use Tennis Racket and it'll be easy.
How am I supposed to use a tennis racket to write?
Tennis Racket. It's a mnemonic or a reminder about what information to include when you write your response.
How's it work?
The 10 reminds you that a finished paragraph is going to be about 10 sentences long. If it's too long, it's probably off topic or repetitious. Remember, there's such a thing as too much information. And if you write much less than 10 sentences, it's probably missing something.
Okay, makes sense so far.
The S stands for summary. What are you writing about?
I guess it's a good idea to let the audience know that.
Yup. Be sure to tell them the title and the author, and what it's about. Try to keep it to a sentence or two.
I can do that. What's next?
R stands for restate the question. Basically, you're turning the question into the beginning of a statement.
Just the beginning of a statement?
Yup, because the A is your answer to the question. That's going to finish off the statement.
Oh, that makes sense.
The R and the A together create your claim, the thing you're going to try to prove in the rest of the writing. This is sometimes called a topic sentence or a thesis statement.
Good to know. So now that I've told the audience what I'm going to write about, what comes next?
It's time to prepare some proof for your audience that your claim makes sense based on the details from the text. That means using a very specific piece from the text.
You mean a quote? But that starts with a Q. What's the C?
Well, before you can drop in a quote, you need to give the audience some information about the text that will help them understand the quote. That's called context.
And that starts with a C. Got it.
Right. The context is going to create a bridge between your claim and your proof, so your audience can follow your reasoning.
I remember hearing Dr. T say we shouldn't ever just toss a quote into our writing without some setup.
Exactly. The context lets the reader know whatever important info they will need to understand the quote. That might mean telling them what's going on in the text right before the quote, or it might mean giving a real short history of a character or specific situation from the text.
Got it. Which means the quote is next.
Yep. The Q, or quote, is the proof that supports the answer you chose. It shows that your answer makes sense. And of course, if you include a quote,
you have to cite it! But wait a minute. Citation starts with a C, and I already have a C with my context.
Remember that you never use a letter Q without a letter U after it. Just like if you include a quote, you have to use MLA citation right after it.
Wait. U stands for use MLA citation? That's pretty lame.
It sure is. But we're moving on to our next letter.
Ugh, fine. The rest of this has been pretty good. So, what's the E reminding me of?
E stands for explain. You have to spend a few sentences explaining what the quote you chose suggests or implies about the text, plot, or characters. And then, explain how this implication shows that your answer makes sense. That should take at least 2 sentences. Maybe 3 or 4.
If I do all that, it seems like I have a good response. So, what's up with the T?
Once you've proven your point, you can show off your thinking skills a bit by transitioning to another text that shows the same truth.
That's a lot of T.
It is, but it's short. Spend maybe 2 sentences showing how your answer you gave for this text can also be seen in some other well-known text or well-known historical situation or well-known current event or well-known art.
All right, I get it. Transition to another text. That's the T. And that's the end of Tennis Racket. Summarize the text, restate and answer the question, give context for the quote, use MLA citation, explain how the quote proves my point, transition to another text, and that should be about 10 sentences long. I think I've got it.
Great! Now you can kick the butt of any text response that comes your way.
Yeah! Thanks!